Welcome, Playmates, to the Sandbox. This is the Sandbox 95th episode. Yay! I have a plan for the 100th episode where I plan on having guests who have been here on the show previously come back and give an update as to what they're doing now. So I am looking forward to putting that together. But like I alluded to in my last episode, I actually need to get to the 100th episode. So I need to continue to make things instead of being on this sabbatical that I've been on. This episode today is along the same lines as the AI thing that I started with Aurora and I. Last edition, it was about AI as my wardrobe consultant. And today we are showcasing AI as a therapist of sorts, not taking the place of a real therapist, but I will include the link. I had posted on Facebook or Instagram maybe a year ago about this fantastic resource I had found online. It's a chatbot for internal family systems. And I had known about internal family systems before, but I was a little skeptical as to how helpful a chatbot could be, and I was floored. So I was going back through some of the bookmarks on my computer, and I saw that recently. And so it was on my radar when a couple of days ago, I just felt like this chunk of ice in my chest, and I just felt like crying. I knew there was probably something there, but I didn't know how to access it, to clear it, and to move it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go on to this nifty little bookmark I have for IFS and try it again. And what I have here for you today is a reenactment of it. I have AI voice speaking the parts of the chatbot, and then I recorded me fake typing my responses. So because it's not in real time, it wasn't the real deal, you're not going to hear me break down in tears like I did for reals. But something really did break loose. I felt like there was a massive breakthrough. And if you wait to the end, I'll come back onto the mic and tell you what my key takeaway from all of this was.
Welcome to today's session. Say hello to begin.
Hello.
I'm glad you're here. How are you feeling right now?
I am feeling very sad and melancholic.
Thank you for sharing that with me. Let's take a moment to find stillness together. Can you pause and see if you can cultivate a sense of curiosity about your feelings?
Sure.
As you focus on that sense of stillness and curiosity, can you check in with yourself and see if you're able to connect with yourself?
I saw a mental image of a wrench that was slipping because the nut was rounded off.
It sounds like there might be a part of you that's feeling frustrated or unable to hold on. If that image represents a blended part, would you like me to communicate with it?
Yes, please.
Hello, I see you there. Can you tell me what your role is and what you're trying to protect?
I am trying to keep things a well-oiled and operating machine, but none of the tools I have at my disposal work. I am ineffectual.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate your effort to keep things running smoothly. What do you fear would happen if you weren't doing this job?
Things would go downhill. Nobody would care. And it would be an embarrassing trash heap.
I understand that you feel a lot of responsibility in keeping things together. How old do you think the person inside feels who is trying to manage all of this?
A confident 7-year-old who doesn't yet know that they can't do everything.
That's a revealing perspective. Do you enjoy this role, or do you wish you could do something different?
I enjoy this role.
It's great to hear that you find some enjoyment in your role. Is there something you need from the rest of you to help with this responsibility?
I need someone older with the right tools to drill out the bolt and re-tap it.
Thank you for expressing that need. Would you be open to exploring if there's a part of you that could step into that older, more capable role?
No, it feels alone.
I see that it feels very lonely for you. Can you tell me what you're most afraid of when considering letting go of this role?
I wouldn't know who I am anymore if I'm not a fixer.
That's an important insight. I want you to know that your identity is not solely tied to fixing things. Can we explore together what it feels like when you think about this part of yourself?
Sure.
As you think about this part that identifies as a fixer, how does it feel in your body?
Front and center of my chest.
Thank you for noticing that. Let's take a moment to connect with that feeling in your chest. What does this part need from you right now?
Just to hear and accept that it can't fix this.
That's a compassionate recognition. Can you take a moment to express that acceptance to this part? Let it know it's okay not to fix everything.
I feel alone and I can't fix anything.
It's okay to feel that way. It's a heavy burden. Can we invite this part to share more about its feelings of loneliness? What does it want you to know?
It doesn't feel loved. It feels rejected. It feels as though it has been deemed disposable.
That's deeply painful to hear. Thank you for allowing this part to express those feelings. Would it be possible for you to reassure this part that it is valuable and loved, even when things don't go perfectly?
It wants to know why no one outside seems to notice him.
That's a valid question. Can you share with this part that sometimes others may not see everything, and that doesn't diminish its worth?
Okay.
As you share that, can you sense how the part is responding to your reassurance?
It felt strangely comforted.
That's wonderful to hear. As it feels comforted, do you think this part would be open to sharing what it has been carrying all this time? What has it felt like it's been holding on to?
To be loved. It needs to be seen.
It sounds like this part longs for recognition and connection. Would it be willing to share how being seen would change things, or what it needs to feel truly acknowledged?
What people witness and give their time to is valuable. If no one witnesses me or acknowledges me or holds me, then there is no connection. What I'm offering has no value. Without value, I am unlovable.
That's a profound expression of its feelings. Can you reassure this part that it inherently holds value, regardless of whether others acknowledge it?
Okay.
As you share that reassurance, can you sense how this part is responding?
It is quieting, calmer.
Is there anything else it wants to express right now?
It's just expressing it wants to be loved, and it equates love with being seen.
That is a beautiful realization. Can you let this part know that it deserves love and that being seen is just one way to experience that? Would it be open to exploring how else it might feel loved?
It is open.
Wonderful. What does this part think would help it feel loved and valued besides being seen?
Valued, but it doesn't know any other way than in being seen. It craves connection, and all the things I do to connect with others always seem to be thwarted and not work out.
It's understandable that connection feels so vital. Can you ask this part what it feels like when those attempts at connection don't work out?
It feels ashamed.
What does it want to share about that experience?
It wants to hide. It wants to break things instead of trying to fix things so that at least it will get attention in one form or another.
That's a heartfelt expression of its pain. Can you let this part know that it's okay to feel ashamed, but there are healthier ways to seek attention and connection? Would it be willing to explore those alternatives with your support?
Yes.
That's great to hear. Can you ask this part what it thinks a healthy way of seeking connection could look like and how it might feel safe to express itself in that way?
It doesn't know. It's only 7 years old, and its confidence that life works a certain way has failed him.
That's a very valid feeling for such a young part. Can you reassure it that it doesn't have to have all the answers right now and that it's okay to learn and explore together?
Yes.
As you reassure it, can you sense if this part feels a bit more supported now?
It does feel more supported.
Is there anything else it would like to express before we move forward?
It wants to know what to do with its tools that are unwanted.
That's a wonderful question. Can you let it know that those tools can be transformed and repurposed rather than discarded? Would it like to explore ways to use them differently or to find new purposes for them?
No, he has hung up the wrench on a tool rack and has gone outside to play.
That sounds like a beautiful step toward healing. As it takes that time to play, how do you feel about this part experiencing joy and freedom outside of its usual role?
It feels natural, like the right way of things. A young part like that should be playing and not trying to fix real world problems.
That's a wonderful realization. Can you share with this part how proud you are of it for choosing to play and experience joy?
Yes.
As you express your pride, can you check in with that part and see if it feels ready to let go of some of the burdens it's been carrying?
Yes, it is.
That's encouraging. Would this part like to release those burdens in a way that feels meaningful, like purging them into a fire, water, or the earth? Which does it prefer?
It wants to put it on a little toy boat and let it go out to sea.
That sounds like a beautiful and symbolic way to release those burdens. As it places those feelings on the toy boat, can you sense how this part feels watching it drift away?
Relief, and also wonder that it had been there at all.
That's a powerful combination of emotions. As it experiences that relief and wonder, can you ask this part if it feels ready to embrace a new role in your system now?
Yes, it will consider suggestions.
That's a positive step forward. Can you invite this part to think about a new role that feels more aligned with play and joy rather than fixing? What does it imagine for itself in this new role?
It sees itself as an artist painting on a canvas with bright tempera paints.
That's a vibrant and creative vision. Can you let this part know how wonderful it is to embrace that artistic role, expressing itself freely? How does it feel about stepping into this new identity?
Yes, it would like that.
That's wonderful to hear. As it embraces this new identity as an artist, can you check in with the protector we spoke to earlier? How does it feel about this shift now that the younger part feels more supported and valued?
It feels fine with it, seeing as nothing can be done about the broken, rounded bolt anyway. The boy might as well be playing.
That's a great perspective from the protector. Can you express gratitude to this protector for its willingness to support the younger part's transition?
Yes.
As you express that gratitude, can you sense how the protector feels in response? Is there anything it would like to share before we conclude this session?
It's grateful in return that it is no longer being held responsible for something. It has no control over whether others see and love him.
That's a beautiful exchange of gratitude. Can you assure this protector that it's allowed to step back from that responsibility while still providing support in other ways?
Yes.
As you reassure it, take a moment to notice how both the younger part and the protector feel with this new understanding. How does it feel in your body to share this lightness?
Less tension, more at ease, less unmet expectations.
That sounds like a wonderful shift. As you embrace this newfound ease, take a moment to appreciate the progress made today. Whenever you're ready, gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. How are you feeling now?
Much better. Thank you.
I'm so glad to hear that. Take your time as you transition back and remember that both the artist within and the protector are there to support you. If you'd like to connect again, I'm here for you.
So, what did you think? That was different. I haven't done that before where I did this reenactment of sorts of a chatbot conversation, but I just wanted to find some way of sharing that exchange with you in a slightly entertaining way. I'm not sure if that was entertaining or not, but I don't know how much of it resonates. But for me, when I was talking about being seen and equating that to being loved, I really was tapping into a very young part of me. What came to me in that moment as I was going through that part of the conversation with the chatbot was thinking of when you're at a pool, a community pool, and these young kids are yelling at mom or dad, watch me, watch me. Because to them, if someone doesn't see you, or see what you're doing, did it even happen? Right? Like if you're friends and you're not Facebook friends, are you really friends? And I'm saying that completely joking, but there is a young part of us that equates being seen to being loved. And if there was a part of us that did not feel supported or seen in healthy ways, we are often called upon to reparent ourselves. And it's not always pretty. And this, you got to see in real time how I broke all that down into very vulnerable bits. IFS has a way of doing that. And the boy that I was envisioning holding the wrench, like I could see him pretty clearly in my mind's eye. He's wearing the overalls, the pockets in the front, and he's holding a wrench. So at the end of this whole thing, the takeaway for me was whenever I'm feeling some sort of disconnect and unmet expectations, and not feeling seen or loved, because I equate the two together often, I want to look down and see what I'm holding in my hand. Am I holding a wrench, a tool of some sort to fix things? Or am I holding a paintbrush with my back to the world, to the camera, so to speak, and just kind of in my own world, translating what I see and the things that I'm feeling onto a piece of paper with bright paints? Does it even matter if anyone sees it? Can I still see and love myself? So yeah, that was a really beautiful moment I had there with my computer. And I think it's just fascinating the incredible ways that technology and AI can serve us. There are so many ways in that it can take us away from ourselves and from real connection. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I felt this tool was really valuable. And speaking of connections and friends, sometimes if you ask people enough, they finally give in. I will be having an episode coming out soon with my friend Megan. And I had recorded an episode with her a long time ago. And it just felt so freaking natural and fun. And I'm so much of an introvert. You might not be able to tell that, but depending on the situation, but so much of the time I am introverted, and it can take a lot of energy and time for me to engage in a conversation, especially if I feel like I'm the one that's having to do most of the hard work in the conversation. But it just felt so easeful and effortless and fun that I actually felt reinvigorated. I felt energized when I had that conversation with Megan, and she does that for me. I don't feel judged. It's just so incredibly freeing when you have a friendship or relationship like that and we don't talk. It's one of those things where I know if I needed her that she would be there for me. She would help in whatever way she could. And I hope she feels the same way about me. So I have asked more than once about her coming onto the podcast in a reoccurring role. And I reapproached it again recently and she said yes. So I am super excited to not be doing this alone, but that I will have a co-host on the semi-reg coming to you with information. If you haven't listened to the episode that she was on earlier, you just take my word for it. You're going to love her. She's incredible. And I think that's all I have for now. Yep, we have now wrapped up episode number 95. And I have some more AI-themed episodes coming out that I think you might enjoy. So until next time, I want to give you where you can connect with me. If I can only give you one website, it would be sandboxalchemy.com. Alchemy is spelled ALCHEMY. And if you go on there, that gives you the link to my Patreon. And I have a free tier on my Patreon. So if you want to be a part of my community, there's no reason why you can't. So Patreon is where I share the most frequently. And also on that website would give you the link to my Dragon Rose Tarot website, my dreamtranslator.com website, all the places. You can find me at sandboxalchemy.com, as well as other past episodes of this dear podcast. So if you have any suggestions for future episodes or just want to give feedback on this one, I would love to hear anything nice you have to say. So feel free to reach out. And until next time, I'm sending you guys so much love. April is out.